The story begins 30 years earlier with a young boy named Jacko Alley attending a family Christmas party. Curious and mischievous, Jacko takes his cousins upstairs to reveal a secret. Their parents, not Santa Claus, are the ones behind the Christmas gifts. As payment for shattering their belief in Santa, Jacko demands all their candy. Soon after, Uncle Rick arrives and reprimands Jacko for his behavior, insisting that Santa Claus is very real and delivers gifts to children worldwide. Jacko, however, dismisses this as another adult-made myth. Uncle Rick assures him that Santa will come by the next morning to prove otherwise. Fast forward to the present, Jack is now a skilled tracker. At a bustling mall, he skillfully bypasses security and sets a Christmas tree ablaze to create a diversion. Amidst the chaos, he sneaks in and plants a flash drive in the computer system. On his way out, he coldly steals candy from a baby who stared at him too long. Meanwhile, in the mall's Santa, known as the Red On, is doing his annual gig, accompanied by his vigilant head elf, Callum Drift Edge. Callum takes his role as Santa's protector seriously. During Santa's shift, Callum ejects an overbearing influencer who disrupts families waiting to meet Santa, demanding a staged photo shoot. Later, Santa and Callum return to the North Pole, hidden by a magical force field. Upon arrival, they greet Mrs. Claus before Santa heads off to perform his daily workout minus 500 push-ups in just 5 minutes. Afterward, Callum shares with Santa his plans to retire, explaining that he's grown weary of the increasing disrespect for the holiday spirit and how more people are leaning toward naughty behavior. Santa tries to persuade him otherwise, emphasizing the joy of bringing people together through Christmas. Elsewhere, outside the Arctic, a group of mercenaries breaches the North Pole's force field. Callum notices when the tower lights flicker. Investigating further, he finds Santa missing. Determined to act quickly, Callum chases the intruders across the snowy landscape using a snowmobile, but fails to stop them as they escape with Santa. Back at headquarters, Callum uncovers that the attackers were led by a legendary bounty hunter known only as the Wolf. A shadowy figure who operates on the dark web, the Wolf is a notorious freelancer with unmatched tracking skills, even sought after by the FBI. Meanwhile, Jack receives a call from his ex-wife, Olivia, asking him to pick up their son. He complies and during their drive home, lectures his son about trusting no one. After dropping him off, Jack returns to his apartment where he senses he's being followed. Suddenly, he's ambushed by a group of North Pole mercenaries. A brutal fight ensues, with Jack barely managing to escape by leaping out a window into another building. However, his luck runs out when Zoe, a skilled operative, neutralizes him and takes him captive. Jack finds himself taken to a remote area in the North Pole, where he's briefed on the urgent situation. Soon after, Callum and a massive polar bear bodyguard named Garcia confront him, labeling him a level 4 naughty lister. Jack defends himself, explaining that he accepted a lucrative job to track someone but had no idea who the target was or what the mission entailed. Zoe reveals the shocking truth: Santa Claus has been kidnapped. Jack, initially skeptical of such myths, is stunned by the revelation. Zoe assures him that not only is Santa real, but all mythological beings exist. To ensure Jack doesn't betray them, Zoe attaches a tracker to him. Although distrust lingers, the team reluctantly agrees to work together to rescue Santa and save Christmas. Meanwhile, Santa regains consciousness in a mysterious cell and meets his captor, a young woman named G. She cooks Santa up to a machine designed to drain his magical energy to power her ultimate weapon, a magical snow globe known as the Glassic. Back with Jack and Callum, their quest to find Santa begins. Using a portal in a toy store, they grow a toy car into a full-size vehicle and set off. On the journey, Jack asks about Callum's role, learning that he's not only Santa's bodyguard, but also responsible for other critical tasks. Their mission takes them to Aruba, where they locate Ted, the man who facilitated the deal between Jack and the villain. Callum and Jack attempt to reason with Ted, but violence erupts instead. Callum skillfully uses his shrinking and growing abilities to defeat Ted's guards before confronting Ted directly. Ted reveals that the villain is Grilla, the infamous Christmas witch, by writing her name in the sand. Unfortunately, Jack naively says her name out loud, inadvertently alerting Grilla to their presence. She uses Ted as a vessel to taunt Callum, threatening everyone on Santa's naughty list. Callum demands Santa's release, but Grilla remains firm in her desire to punish the naughty. Moments later, an eerie ice cream truck emerges from the ocean, unleashing 3 colossal snowmen-like monsters. Jack and Callum attempt to fight them, but the creatures regenerate each time they're damaged. Eventually, Callum discovers their weakness, removing their carrot noses, destroys them. Jack cleverly uses an explosion to defeat another snowman, while Callum saves him just in time to defeat the last one. Back at Krilla's lair, she tests the Glassic on one of her workers, Abel, trapping him inside the globe when he touches it. However, the globe fails to return to her, enraging Grilla. Frustrated, she alters her plans. Meanwhile, Ted is frozen in ice, rendering him useless for further information. Zoe reunites with Jack and Callum, who theorizes that Santa's estranged brother may be working with Grilla. Despite the lack of jurisdiction to storm the brother's lair, Callum insists he and Jack will infiltrate it in secret to uncover the truth. Jack gets a call from Olivia, who reprimands him for not planning to attend Dylan's concert. Reflecting on this, Jack later discusses his strained relationship with Dylan with Callum, admitting that he hasn't been the most attentive father. Their conversation is cut short as they arrive at Santa's brother's lair, none other than Krampus. Quietly sneaking in, Jack's greed gets the better of him when he tries to pocket a piece of gold, accidentally alerting Krampus and his minions. The duo is captured and brought before Krampus, who is engrossed in a bizarre game called Cramp P Clap. Callum tries to explain Santa's predicament and plea for help, but Krampus is dismissive, accusing Callum of laying blame. To gain their freedom, Jack challenges Krampus to a game of Crucep, which involves enduring slaps from Krampus. The challenge backfires as Krampus's strength sends Jack flying. Before Callum's turn, Jack secretly activates a power-enhancing arm brace for Callum, allowing him to land a powerful slap that knocks Krampus down. This distraction gives them the chance to escape. As they flee, they discover a package addressed to Jack from Grilla. Jack refuses to open it, but soon after he receives a video call from Dylan. Disappointed and hurt, Dylan scolds Jack for missing his concert and warns him to stop sending strange gifts. Realizing the package came from Grilla, Jack watches helplessly as Dylan opens it. The package transports Dylan to Grilla's lair. Desperate, Jack uses another globe to follow his son. In Grilla's lair, she reveals her ultimate plan, using the gloss of figs to rid the world of naughty people and purify the earth. Jack apologizes to Dylan for being a neglectful father, and Dylan forgives him. This emotional moment allows Jack and Dylan to break free from the globes holding them captive. Meanwhile, Zoe and Callum track Jack and Dylan to the North Pole, realizing Grilla never left the area and her shape-shifting minions have infiltrated the North Pole disguised as Mrs. Claus and other staff. Joining forces, they uncovered Grilla's plot to use Santa's sleigh to distribute globes worldwide, imprisoning anyone she deems naughty. The group rescues Mrs. Claus, Garcia, and others before racing to stop Grilla. A fierce battle ensues, with Grilla initially overpowering them. Jack cleverly unhooks the reindeer from the sleigh, grounding it and sending Grilla over the edge. Callum attempts to wake Santa, but Grilla resurfaces in her monstrous true form, a terrifying tentacled entity. As Grilla prepares to attack, Krampus arrives in his own sleigh to help. A chaotic battle breaks out, with Grilla tossing Krampus around. Fortunately, Santa regains consciousness and summons his reindeer to fight back, ultimately punching Grilla into a pile of her own globes, trapping her inside one. Zoe takes her into custody. With Grilla defeated, the team scrambles to get Santa ready for his Christmas deliveries. Jack, Dylan, and Callum join Santa as he flies across the globe, spreading joy and gifts to children. Along the way, Callum observes Jack bonding with Dylan, even catching a glimpse of Jack's inner child. Inspired, Callum decides not to retire after all. As the night ends, Santa flies everyone home, wrapping up the adventure.